and he wishes to speak on an overview of the IOTA India activities. Atharva, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Am I audible to all?
Go ahead.
I'll share my screen now. Yeah, I'll not take too much of your time. So I quickly want to run down through the activities that we have done this year, and I also want to talk about what we're planning to do in the coming year. So we are a team of 7 or 8 active observers, and what we do is we plan expeditions to different parts of India. As you know, India is quite a large territory, and we tend to travel to different parts of the country, and we divide ourselves into multiple teams. So to quickly recap about IOTA India, so IOTA India is not very old. It just started on May 3rd of 2019, and today we are 807 days old. And the team members are individually involved in carrying out many observations. So we have an observatory in Pune, which is on the western side of India, and we carry out variable star observations, and we are involved in engaging a lot of MS students who do their final year projects with us. We are also involved in asteroid and lunar occultations. We very recently started using the OSD and VTI equipment that IOTA provides. Initially, we used to record the NTP timings, and we used to carry out different projects based on that. These all activities are coordinated by a local astronomy club, which is also the oldest astronomy club in India, called JVP. What we do now is we have identified some regular and some experienced observers all over the country, and who know, if you give them the predictions, they will submit the observations quite accurately with good error margin and also in time. So what we do is we give them specialized predictions on our website, depending upon what part of the country they're in, and we upload it on our website 15 days before the next month starts. So meaning, if I upload the observations on 15th of July, it will include predictions for the month of August. And if there are any major changes that we observe, then we re-upload those observations again. And so far, whatever observations we have received, we keep on updating them in our observations tab. And we also have developed a couple of new apps, particularly for Android for now. And we are developing the same apps for iOS also. So I'll quickly show those applications also. So we have followed all the format of the main IOTA website or the occultations.org website, but we have customized it a little bit for the Indian subsection, and we only release the Indian alerts on our site. So we have a predictions page, so I can show the website itself. So this is how it looks like, and on the website we have also included the citizen science links and all the applications that we have designed. And then there are also a lot of tutorials that we have compiled from all over the web. In the prediction section, we include the reports generated by Dave Harrods as well as Steve Preston's predictions, as well as the ones that are generated using Occult4. So we include both the image as well as the HTML files, where there is a Google map embedded, and it becomes easier and handy for them to quickly access and plan any observations they want. Coming back to the presentation. So this is how we keep on updating, and we release the updates well in advance. So unfortunately, because of the COVID scenario in India, and we have too many people, and the numbers of the COVID were also increasing very rapidly, so we could not travel a lot this year. So we don't have too many observations in 2021, but we got a good set of observations last year, and we hope that these observers will keep on submitting more and more observations this year. So these observations can be found on our website under Observations tab. What we also do along with that is we carry out different outreach events all over India and in all the regional languages in India. So most of the popular talks and popular activities are carried out in regional languages, so that helps us reach out to a wider and larger number of audience. So there was this recent live streaming program where we collected all the amateur astronomers from India who were particularly interested in observational astronomy, and we had Ted speak with us on the IUCAA type of platform. So it was a Zoom meeting which was streamed online, and so far we have around 1,500 people who have seen this talk and who have tried something out on their own, and we are receiving their primary observations, and we are then giving them some suggestions to improve. We also have a Facebook group where Suhas posts regular updates on whatever occultations are about to happen, especially the lunar occultations, because almost everybody can get access to a small telescope, and they can use applications like Time the Sat or Sat Timer, the one that we have designed, and can record these observations. We have also started archiving the observations that we have done on our YouTube channel, which is called IOTA India, and we keep on uploading the observations whatever we receive from people as well. So these observations sometimes may not include the GPS time insert or the GPS timestamps, but we upload them nonetheless so that people will keep on observing and they will continue submitting the observations, and we just hope that they will keep on refining the quality of the observations they do. So these are some of the photographs. We have a lot of equipment. Most of the portable equipments are usually now modified in such a way that they can be attached to they can be put in a car, and we have many ZWOs and QHY cameras along with our VTI kits. And what we have done right now over here is we have developed this Sat Timer app. So why have we developed this app is because the Time the Sat app does not work on certain Android versions. For example, there is an Android version called Marshmallow, and all the lower versions beyond that do not allow you to install, or do not, the Time the Sat app does not work as it's supposed to on those Android versions. So that is the reason we had to develop this new app. So it is pretty much exactly similar to Time the Sat, but we have made certain upgradations to that. We have updated a countdown timer where you can start recording the event based on the countdown that you set. There is also a new upgrade where we have included a flash timer. So to get an idea or to get an exact GPS timestamp, what you do is you hold the camera in front of the telescope. The camera will flash and that GPS time will be recorded. You will also have that flash in your video frame, so it will be a good pointer to analyze whenever you record or save that video. So that has been incorporated, and rest everything is pretty much like Time the Sat. So this new application was developed. So this is developed for Android right now, and it's there on the Play Store. You can download and use it. We are trying to develop the similar application for iOS also, since there are many observers who use iPhones. So we are also trying to develop a low-cost alternative to the VTI kit. So we already have 3 of these kits, and these are excellent kits. And the only problem is that whenever we order these kits from US, it does include a lot of delays, as well as the costing of each kit goes around 70,000 rupees. So approximately $900 US. So which is quite expensive for a amateur astronomer. So if it is being purchased by a university or a college, then in that case the setup is not very expensive. But for an amateur astronomer, especially for people who are living in remote locations, it is quite expensive for them. So we are trying to work on the low-cost alternatives. We have a lot of engineering electronics students with us, and they are quite excited, and they have already started working on some alternatives for this kit. So we did find a lot of material already on the IOTA website, and if need be, we will definitely get in touch with all of you. And so this is what we have in mind. We plan to develop and distribute these setups for free. So we probably will find sustained sources of funding. So we are also planning to collaborate with some of the universities and some of the institutes in India, particularly the Astrophysics Institutes, And we hope that we will be able to develop these low-cost alternatives and distribute this in all different parts of India, so we can have coordinated observations with a lot of students. We also are planning a series of demonstration sessions for different. We are also planning some demonstration sessions in different areas for selective amateur astronomers who are quite active and who are easily reachable. And we also are planning to continue the outreach events that we are already doing, and we plan to amplify that. Once these restrictions ease down, we plan to travel a lot in different regions of the country, and we hope that we will be able to set up some fixed observation locations where we can also, remotely observe and remotely record observations, if any. We also have some students who are collaborating and working as a part of Growth Observatory, which is a global relay of observatories, and those are involved in the transient observations. So we plan to do something on those lines, particularly for the occultation observations, and we should be able to access and operate those instruments remotely. But this is a very long-term and a far-fetched goal, but we hope that in the coming year, we will be able to execute the low-cost alternative idea as well as the training idea. And in the very end, we plan to design some projects that we can, engage the university-level students, so they will be interested in, observing occultations more and possibly traveling to different locations and planning such similar events. So this is pretty much what we have in mind for this year. And as we keep on getting more and more resources and people, we will keep on adding more and more plans. So we also have identified a couple of softwares, and we have studied a lot of software. And especially in the last 2 days, I have been looking at all the different types of work that you all have been doing, and we would like to contribute, and we would like to help out in the development of new apps or even the automated web tools. Even if there are existing apps which need to be ported in Android, in iOS, or maybe a web version of those apps needs to be done, then myself and our team will be very happy to assist you all in doing that. So that's all about the plans that we have in mind and whatever work has been going on. We have been engaging with the people at local level, and because we have been working with students, it has caught the attention of some of the local media groups also. So these are some of the photos from the newspapers, especially in the Pune region. And this is how you can get in touch with us. You already know our website, which is iotaindia.in. And this is the office. If you want to send a letter to us or something to us, this is the contact number. So Suhas Gurjar particularly looks after all the administrative work there is related to IOTA India. But this is the email, which is indiaoccultations@gmail.com. So this is how you can write to us. And we already are joined to the Google group or the groups.io group. So we keep on checking that. So this is how you can get in touch with us. So thank you. This is all I had to run down, and I had to update with all of you. So if you have any questions, you can please ask me. Actually, I had a few open questions that I wanted to address. So one of the questions has already been addressed. I've received a couple of email IDs where I can contact for the help in the low-cost alternatives for designing the VTI setup. So I will get in touch with Steve for that. So one of the experiences that we received from one of our observation team was that they traveled to the exact same predicted path or the center line for a particular occultation, asteroid occultation. And what they observed was they were looking at the right position at the right time. But so I'll tell you the exact occultations. Just a second. But what happened was they were looking at the right place at the right time. They had submitted the data to I think to Dave, or I don't remember who Suhas had sent email to, but the occultation did not happen at the predicted time. So what I was curious about is what happens to these observations. So are these observations taken into account, and how do we keep a record these observations, and how do we present these observations on our observation section? Meaning, if I observe a particular occultation, I go to the exact center line, and at the exact time, if I'm observing and the occultation does not happen, so what happens to this observation afterwards? And is there any way to rectify that? And is there any way to avoid such an instance in the future observation? So that is a query that I have. Other than that, if you feel that I should share something more about IOTA India and its activities, I would be very, very much happy to.
Thank you very much, Atharva. I'm really glad to have made your acquaintance, and I thank Suhas Gurjar for introducing you to us. I think everyone can see how interest in occultation science has grown in India, and we have enthusiastic observers there, and with outreach plans, and it's kind of exciting to hear from you. So thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions of Atharva at this time?
Roger, I thought I might, this is Steve, I thought I might just address some of the question that he raised at the last about what happens with, I guess you call it negative observations where we didn't expect one. Currently, and this is largely just a limit on the amount of resources we have for processing reports. The whole report team is quite busy, especially since the number of reports being sent in is about 5 times as great as it was a few years ago at the moment. So right now we do not log all negative reports. We just log the negative reports if there were some positives. However, if someone had a negative report, say from the center line, and let's say the statistics said that they should have had one from the center line, and that includes the statistics from the orbit bit, plus also the other consideration often is the quality of the star position. Obviously, the Gaia catalog does a great job, but there are some situations where there's an issue. It's either a known double star, or there's a couple of flags in the Gaia catalog, duplicated source, and the RUWE flag. Assuming there's no issues with the star and there's no issues with the asteroid position, and yeah, that's an interesting question. And I think in that instance, we don't have a standard protocol for following up. So the best thing to do is to tell Dave Harold, and he'll take a look and see if there's something we can do to follow up on that specific instance. Usually we're kind of constrained by the uncertainties or the other issues in the star position or the asteroid, where we can't really deduce anything from a pure negative observation, but sometimes we can. Sometimes it's worth looking into, but hopefully eventually we'll get more volunteers in the report team, and we'll be able to start covering all those negative observations on a regular basis.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Yeah.
Good. All right. I want to move on now. Dave